Okay, we are live with New Vocations Lexington, Kentucky facility. This is Leandra, and this is our marketing guru, Erica. We are going to take a little trail ride today and talk to you a little bit about Mereworth's history. We started in the ring. We're all mounted up. Erica and I don't usually get to ride a lot of these beasts, so we're grateful for Leandra to put us on nice ones to go have a ride down the road with. He's like, You might have to go in front of me. I'll film you. Who are you on, Erica? Erica is on Sea Shark. Leander, what can you tell me about Sea Shark? He's a 4-year-old gelding. He's about 16.2. He's very kind. Rambo, of course, making his appearance. And Leandra on the chestnut behind us. She is riding Indian Companion. What can you tell me about Indian Companion, Leandra? He is 10 years old. He is a war horse, which means he has won over $100,000 or had over 50 starts, and he is available online. As you can tell, we've had a ton of rain here in the bluegrass. The fields are very, very green and need mowed like every 2 days, I feel like. These are some of our other guys in our smaller paddocks. So these guys are all in training. This is our training facility. Rambo's going to lead the way, I think, with Erica. Smile! We're super grateful for all of our awesome staff. Thank you for putting me on something that's not going to fling me off. And as you can tell, we have a tractor up here in the driveway. We, unfortunately, like anybody with gravel roads, are constantly repairing. Who's in this field, Leandra? So we have Verhona and Rested Notion. Who's the dark bay? Verhona. And Ranger. Ranger is our token babysitter. He's the chubby one, as you can tell, has not raced anytime lately. He is very, very kind. Some of our racehorses, when we get them over into training, haven't been turned out in quite a long time if they're an older racehorse. So Ranger is our manner minder and kind of teaches them manners again. Good boy. So for those of you who are not super familiar with Mereworth Farm, and to be very honest, a lot of people are not, Mereworth became a farm in 1924. It was actually begun by Walter Salmon Sr. He was a real estate mogul up in New York, decided he wanted to get into the thoroughbreds. So he did racehorses for a little while, but then decided his heart was really in the breeding side of things. So at its heyday, Mereworth Farm was actually a very, very prominent thoroughbred nursery. It encompassed about 3,000 acres total, which in Kentucky we have teeny tiny counties, was multiple counties. And they did a lot of other things besides just thoroughbreds. They also did corn, tobacco, and a lot of cattle. Walter Salmon Sr. then gave the property to his son, Walter Salmon Jr., and he continued the breeding program and really established it very, very well. In 1986, Susan Donaldson took the property over, and it became the 1,200 acres that it is now. If you guys are familiar at all with the Kentucky Horse Park, Mereworth Farm is about the same size as the Kentucky Horse Park. So our relationship with Mereworth Farm began quite a few years ago now. It seems like it was yesterday, but it really wasn't that long ago. They were gracious enough to take in some of our horses that required a little bit longer rehab times. Just needed to be turned out, needed to be horses for a little while before they came over to the training side. That relationship went very, very well, and they kind of did their homework on us, and eventually gave us use of, we have about 150 acres now that we use on the foundation. Here's our sky. It looks like it might rain a little bit. We're hoping we make it through our trail ride without it. This is our L field. Rambo's checking out the wildlife. So Susan Donaldson decided that she wanted to make sure, Lexington, Kentucky, like a lot of the other facilities, a lot of other towns, is always in danger of development. Oop, dropping my phone. So what Susan did is she created a foundation that allowed for this farm, all 1,200 acres, to never be developed, which is amazing. So it is PDR protected, which means it can't be developed, and it's also in a foundation. So the Mereworth Foundation is governed by three executors. So there's 2 in New York, and there's 1 local executrix here in Lexington, Kentucky, and they oversee the entire farm. We're going to pause for a second, see what Rambo's flushing out of the weeds. Hey, guys. Hold on, we're trying to come to you. We're not neck reining. So this is the back part of our property. Leandra tries very hard to make sure that all of the horses get out of the ring a little bit if they are in training, especially for our horses that might potentially be more limited. She wants to make sure that they get exposed to a bunch of different things. And if you can hear the background noise, this is still a working farm, so it is most likely a piece of farm machinery. Hopefully you can still hear us. There's a tractor. So Kentucky is famous for its tobacco. We have a tobacco barn over here that you can see. It's huge. When we started our facility, we actually ended up taking a tobacco barn down that was unable to be rehabbed. It was about 250 feet long, if you can imagine that. It was massive. So it looks like they've got some silage here. You can see some hay wagons. Come on, pony. He's like, no. He's like, I don't want to do that. Good boy. So Susan Donaldson passed in 2011, and she ensured a couple years before her death, like I had mentioned, that this 1,200 acres could not ever be developed. Her mission in creating that foundation was basically to provide a space for unwanted horses and also cats. She's also very, very passionate about her cats. So they actually have I have no idea if it's like a formal agreement, but we take a lot of feral cats here at Mereworth. They are in some of our barns, so if you ever get to come visit us, you'll see some of them most likely. And she was just an avid animal lover, clearly, as you can tell by this 1,200 acres that was dedicated to them. So when our relationship with Mereworth Farm began, we had actually 75 acres. We have been lucky enough to be able to expand that. But they are very good to us in multiple other ways. They provide some of our hay, as much hay as they can to us. Mereworth actually has about 200 other retired horses on their property, which clearly are their first priority, and anything that they have extra, they are gracious enough to donate to New Vocations. They mow all of our green space, which any of you all who have farms know what a time-consuming chore that is. So we're very grateful for that. They also Okay, good. Sorry, I'm like, what is it? They also pay our water bills, which we're super thankful for because clearly 30 horses in training and nearly 20 in rehab drink a lot of water, especially on hot days like this. It's about 85 here today in Lexington, real feel. And they're very good to us. The farm manager of Mereworth, Jimmy Boyd, is an absolute wonderful resource for us with everything with the horses and questions about our grounds and all that good stuff. Ooh, ooh, tripping. Leandra, have these guys been out on the trails before? So Sea Shark, the one that Erica's on directly in front of me, has been out before, but these two guys are being awesome. This is their first time on the trails. So we are going to pass what Mereworth calls the shop up here. A lot of the facilities, let's see if I can pan over here. So that, if you can see way in the background, is an old additional 250-foot tobacco barn that they have taken down. A gentleman came and took the siding, and now I'm not quite sure what they're doing with the rest of it. Oh, sorry, pony. Dun, 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 dun. So Mereworth, being 1,200 acres, has an entire staff who helps keep the farm running and care for those 200 retired horses. The 200 horses that Mereworth has in particular are all pasture sound, not rideable, live wonderful, wonderful lives here on the farm. As you can tell, it's absolutely stunning. This is the shop, if you guys ever pass this. So we are in Fayette County right now. At its heyday, like I had mentioned, it covered 3 different counties and still encompasses 2. This is where they keep a lot of their mowers and farm machinery, all that good stuff. So this is the back of our property. Michelle, it's a beautiful day for a ride. The flies are getting kind of bad, but they're not super terrible just yet. As I get bucked off from a horsefly. Hopefully not. Rainbow's gonna lead the way. So as you guys see us ride up this road, you'll kind of understand how narrow our roads here. I always have to preface it when I give people directions with trailers that I'm not insulting their trailer driving skills, but there is certain turns as you get to our farm that you simply can't make in anything bigger than about a 4-horse, honestly. So you'll see how narrow they are in a second. And I do hope you guys someday get to come see the farm in person, because this is just a glimpse of it, and it is truly one of the most beautiful. The drive in, as you can tell with the trees arcing over it in the springtime and in the fall, are just absolutely fantastic. So to our right, Mereworth has just fenced these paddocks. As you can tell, they are not painted yet. This used to be a big hay field. And they are super, super good about not overstocking their pastures and paddocks. Their their grass honestly looks this good in all of their fields. Good boy. Here's our stacked stone walls, which I had never seen until I moved to Kentucky. Our run-in sheds, which they are not utilizing just yet because it's a very, very pretty day. Good boy. I can't show you before pictures on here now because this is a live video, but I wish we could show you guys some photos, and eventually they'll be on our website, which we're just redoing. So the section that we have now, this 75 acres that you can see, was all tobacco. When we first looked at it in 2004, it was, no joke, the tallest tobacco I've ever seen. And there were places, because it had been in tobacco production for so long, that to build the pads for the barns and the arenas, we had to remove 22 inches of topsoil, which clearly is a ton of topsoil, but it also was really, really good quality dirt. Some of it might have come to my house to put in my raised beds, honestly, in the back of my truck. And we're super thankful to have us. I'm not sure if you could see for the office yet. So when we began construction, we started with barn 1, which I'll show you here in a minute when we turn into the drive. The next thing we built was barn 2. Third was the indoor arena. And finally was the office. We had all pretty much operated out of home offices, or our trainers operated out of offices in their homes or the barns. So it was not a super hard adjustment, but I think we were all really grateful when we got to go into the office, because it's nice just to be able to, instead of calling someone or texting them, just to walk into their office and ask them some questions. And clearly Leandra is gracious enough to let us hop on the horses every so often. These are our front fields. And we did the no climb fencing that you can see. We did that basically for maintenance. It is not maintenance free, but definitely less maintenance than forecourt. Good boy, good boy. And we just got some signage in, which is wonderful. And you can see up here the sign as we get closer. Barn 1 and Barn 2. Who are these guys? Oh, that's Gozer. Americandy. So Americandy is this dark bay we're walking by right now. This is Gozer. That's Leandra's horse. He's her thoroughbred makeover, 2020 thoroughbred makeover project, which we can't wait to see her compete. You guys can cheer her on. Here's a culvert. In case you guys wondered, this our dirt guy, who's the most wonderful person in the world, calls this place Culvert City because we've got loads and loads and loads of culverts. This is the only tree directly ahead of you, is the only tree that we were really able to salvage. Almost everything was in the way of where we had designed the offices and the barns to go. So this was just a little trip around. Leandra sometimes takes them on more detailed trail rides. And Leandra, do you take them through water? Do you have any water you can go through? Do you? So she'll get them through water, and like I said, it's just, as we all know, it's just really good for their brains to get out. But especially with our horses that might be more limited, it certainly is a wonderful selling point to say that they have been out of the ring. So we appreciate you guys for watching. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to drop them in the comments. Our marketing guru, Erica, I'm sure will go through them later. But we appreciate all you do. In case you guys ever wondered, these jockeys are our foundation donors. So, and it's also a great photo op when you guys come to visit. So we hope all is well. You guys are staying safe, and we will talk to you soon.